Welcome back to our next in the self-isolation video series from Sikastan. Obviously, as the leaders, we have to be set a good example for the mandatory isolation. So we are doing it. So this video is my top 5 highlights from 2021. Fitz will also be doing one. So if you haven't seen his, go check his out as well. If it is out already, and if it isn't, wait with bated breath to go see that. So my top 5 highlights from 2021 in no particular order and in no particular weight of meaning is number one was the kind of earliest event of that year was moving into an office. So Seek Strength renting and kitting out a premises for us for an office, a space where we could run our business was obviously something we'd been a huge significant milestone in our eyes as a business from success point of view. For years we would have worked from each other's houses, from home, and moving into a premises for the fact that we could afford one, the fact that we needed one, and then the fact that we could literally have a place where we had a studio, have our things, have our desks, all of this set up, that this was our workplace, was a very meaningful event and something that jumps out of my mind straight away when I think of highlights from 2021. Obviously, at the start of 2021, we were in a quite a severe lockdown in Ireland. It was kind of our third severe lockdown, so we were working full time at Sika, but unfortunately, we'd only 2 or 3 months of working together full time, and then we had to go into this lockdown, and then we were locked down for like 2 months, and we're working from our home offices. And obviously that was quite challenging in its own right in terms of making content and stuff, but in terms of just kind of, I would say, isolation. Of course, everyone had that issue. For us, we were isolating in our houses doing our work, and it was just the two of us, but we were separate. So at times that was quite tough. So it was quite a breath of fresh air a couple of months later to move into the office. It's better commute time for us, and we will be expanding further in next door with the office where we're currently in. So we're going to have a better and dedicated studio, so just a room for the studio. So we're going to set that up nicely. So I'm looking forward to doing some stuff with that. And obviously we'll do like a studio build as well, like we did with the office build, which hopefully was on the screen there somewhere. So that's going to be quite exciting. But obviously the fact that we just moved into a premises that Seek Strength has somewhere that is an office, and Seek Strength has somewhere to call home, it was a hugely significant event for us and won't be quickly forgotten. Number two then is kind of a follow-on from that. It's just the general growth of Sika Strength. Things like, Sikastan taking off, the kind of people's understanding of the meme and the humour behind that. Number of subscribers, viewers, podcasts, clients, people buying programs, people in our Facebook group, views, all of these things, people knowing who they are. The amount of times I've met people, I was training commercial gym for the last few months, and literally I think barely a week goes by where I don't meet someone and they watch the videos and they're like, oh, I love watching your videos, and they're like, really nice to meet you. And that's a huge bonus, or a huge kind of significance of how well things are growing, that you're just meeting people on the street who are like, oh, I love the YouTube channel, you and Dara are great, this is, that kind of stuff. That means a huge amount. Just the general growth of Seek Strength is something that is very, very meaningful and was a huge highlight of 2021. The growth was far beyond what I could have dared hope for. Obviously what we would have been thoroughly impressed with and enjoyed had we known where it would have been the year before. But what it ended up being was far beyond what we thought we would have got, to be honest. It's knew what we'd get to at some stage, but I didn't think we'd get there as soon as we did in 2021. So just a general growth, business is booming, as they say, was a huge highlight of 2021. Then the third highlight of 2021 was our first international seminars. So we've given a lot of weightlifting and kind of strength training seminars in Ireland prior to that, around 2019 and kind of 2018. Then 2020 hit, obviously, so that cut the kibosh on any kind of seminar. But then in 2021, in September, we did 2 seminars, one in the University of Edinburgh and then one in Ascension Training down in London with those guys. So the University of Edinburgh was technically our first one, and it was just a week before the one in London. So that was a huge kind of meaningful event for us, the fact that there was demand in other countries, enough a significant demand that where we could travel to and give a weightlifting seminar. Obviously both of us thoroughly enjoy traveling, so it was something that was very meaningful to mix business and travel and be able to go there and educate people, meet people in person, people who've supported us for a long time, go meet them, educate them, and get some feedback from them and see it in person. And seminars are terribly enjoyable. If you're that kind of personality, myself and Fitz are, we really enjoy that. So that kind of hands-on education is something that is hugely meaningful, and the fact that it was in different countries is a big significant part. It's kind of a sub part of the growth itself, is that traveling somewhere for seminars outside of the country was a very significant friend for us, and it was hugely enjoyable, and we've made some great friends from that, and we will be back again in the future for sure with those people. So that is a massive event as well from 2021. Number 4 then was just kind of general travel in relation to Sika. I suppose 2 of the kind of main highlights would have been from September. So one, going to Malta technically wasn't for Wait or Sika in general. That was a holiday with myself and my partner. But I then made some great friends, and I got a great chance to train with Yasmin, Amanda, and Melissa. So they are other international weightlifters, very high caliber female weightlifters, and it was terribly enjoyable training with them. I didn't get enough time to train with them, to be honest. There wasn't enough days, but hopefully I'll be back in Malta this year, and hopefully I'll get to train with them for another couple of days, a little bit longer, and I'll be in good shape. I was in great shape in Malta that time, so I was very happy with that. But obviously then, kind of one of a few weeks later, not as well, but one of those highlights when I did get to Romania a few weeks later was just more travel and seeing Gabriel. I always love spending time with Gabriel. He's one of my great friends. He's a stellar human being, and all the people around Gabriel are great. So those kind of travel, seeing more of Romania, seeing Malta, any travel, for honest, to me is something I'm very happy about. So just that kind of traveling experience in relation to Sika Strength or anything around that is, a huge memories. The people you meet, like with the seminars, are the real definers. Then number 5, a highlight of 2021 is kind of a morbid one depending on what angle you look at this, but the fact that we made a full calendar year as a business, depending on what statistics you look at and what kind of business you look at, is a huge achievement. So we were, I think this is like 4 or 5 years, 5 years of business now. Maybe this might be our 5th year in business. The fact that we made it through a full calendar year and pay ourselves wages is a hugely meaningful event. So September last year in 2021, that would have marked 30th September would marked a full year from when I would have left corporate kind of companies. So that was a pharmaceutical, not financial. When I left for the pharmaceutical world behind and headed off, when we headed off on our own, that was, to make a full year, just a full calendar year and a full day-to-day year, and just that time frame where the business grows and where the business grows, and we were able to pay ourselves wages. We're able to hire Alex as an editor to do a lot of the editing for us. Also then on top of that, then just all of the other things we're able to do in 2021, with the fact that we made it that whole year and we didn't go out of business, and the business stood on its own 2 legs, because we're kind of at a point where Sika Strength was either shit or bust. We were either going full time or we had to let it go, and we were never letting it go. We knew that was never going to be an option. That wasn't even an option for us, but it was push came to shove, for me kind of, for both of us kind of psychologically, in late 2020. So to make it that full year in 2021, even amidst a pandemic, kind of especially for that growth factor, the fact that both of those kind of are, the fact that everything went so well, even amidst kind of the kind of global controversy, was very, very meaningful. And the fact that we're still here in 2022, ready to keep going, is incredibly meaningful and a huge highlight of 2021, as any business owner will know. So they're my top 5 highlights. I'm sure there's others I'm missing. I don't know Fitz's, so I'm going to be interested to see watching his. He'll be putting out his own separate video as well. Hopefully in a few days we'll be back together and hit 2022 rolling. But I hope you enjoyed the highlights. If there was any particular things of ours that you found were highlights of yourself, you're like, oh, that was great when the lads did that, I'd be interested to see if you had any kind of thoughts or associations around stuff we did. So I'd be very interested to see those. And if not, thank you for everyone for the support, and hopefully we will keep your support and keep justifying your support into 2022. As of course, as cheesy as it sounds and as cliches and repetitive as it is, this would not be possible without you, ladies and gentlemen. So we wholeheartedly thank you, and be very interesting to see this time next year where the recap of 2022 will be. Thanks, guys.